So, it has been quite some time since I filmed my last BookTube video, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to do a book review since I just finished reading Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents back to back. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and just get started with the review, Q&A style. Question number 1. What is the book about? Parable of the Sower is the story about Lauren Olamina, the teenage daughter of a Christian minister. Lauren has spent her entire life inside the walls that protect her community from the dangerous outside world of post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. After a few outsiders successfully break in, Lauren realizes that her walls aren't strong enough to protect her community, so she begins a series of preparations in order to protect herself against the worst possible scenario. Sooner or later, Lauren's fears come true, and she is brutally forced to survive in the outside world. Parable of the Talents is, again, about Lauren Olamina, who has successfully built a safe community in the outside world. Lauren no longer follows her father's Christian religion, and instead, she's collected a series of her own religious truths that she calls Earthseed, and the destiny of Earthseed followers is to take root among the stars. While Lauren is building Earthseed, a religious tyrant named Andrew Jarrett is gaining traction in his political career. Worse than Jarrett himself is a band of religious thugs who call themselves Jarrett's Crusaders, and their only mission is to burn the witches and drive out the heathens, including the followers of Lauren's Earthseed. Question number 2. What did you like about this book? First, I really love how Octavia Butler constructs this world. The book starts in the year 2024, so it's in the very near future. I called it post-apocalyptic because that was the easiest way for me to describe it, but really it's not that accurate because there's no one event that causes the collapse of American society. What Octavia Butler did was that she examined some current trends in her world, which was Los Angeles in the early 90s, and then projected them into the future. If anything, I think that's what makes these books even more frightening because it's sort of a glimpse of what our world could look like if we, as humans, continue our self-destructive habits. Also, even though this book is about a teenage girl, it's definitely not YA. People have sex, people get murdered, and people get raped, both men and women. So even though I don't necessarily like reading about these things, I do appreciate that they add to this sort of realness of the world that Octavia Butler creates. I definitely also like Lauren Olamina herself as a character. She is by far one of my favorite literary sheroes. Lauren doesn't have any special skills, she doesn't have any special powers, she's just an ordinary girl that wants to survive. And it's this strong determination to survive that allows her to accomplish all the things that she did. Also, I really like that even though different people, including Lauren, find love interests, it's not over the top and it's not cheesy. I think when I was younger, I really liked, you know, the corny, like their hands graze each other's and then her heart fluttered. But now if I read that sort of thing, I'm just like, oh, come on. So I appreciate that the love interest was just matter of fact. Like so-and-so met so-and-so and they were together. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Question number 3. What did you not like about the book? I didn't like that the second book was so sad. It was just really hard to see Lauren accomplish so much and then to just be put in difficult situations afterward. I don't want to spoil it too much for you. Also, random, but I did not like how Octavia Butler kept calling the internet the nets. To be fair, she did write this book in the 90s, so the internet wasn't really a thing yet, but it just makes me cringe every time I read that. And she's like, okay, we gotta upload it to the nets. And I'm like, oh God, stop. I think Orson Scott Card called it the nets too in Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow, so that's really funny. Question number 4, would you recommend this book? I would definitely recommend these stories. Like I said, this is my second time reading these books, and it's just so easy to dive into the story and get lost in them. Octavia Butler is such a great writer, and she really knows how to craft these worlds. Even if you're not used to reading science fiction, I'd still recommend them because, like I said, they're set in the near future, so except for a couple of things, there's not anything that's super duper sci-fi. So I think you'll still enjoy it. So that's it. Overall, I gave both books 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. If you've read these books before or want to read these books, or if you have any suggestions on the next book that I should read, go ahead and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching my video, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Until next time, happy reading. And I really feel as though I don't know. I'm just really happy about it. And I'm just so happy about it that I want to share it with you all.